Today's conversation is with Sophie, a young woman from the UK whose life has changed in significant ways over the past 15 years. Diagnosed with multiple chronic conditions from the age of 16, Sophie has had to adapt again and again, including when her hearing began to shift, eventually leading to deafness. In this episode, she speaks openly about communication, about the almost serendipitous fact that she had learnt sign language years before she needed it, and how it is now one of her main forms of communication. Sophie reflects on how these changes have shaped her identity and relationships, and how isolation and loneliness can sit alongside resilience and growth. This is an insightful and eloquent conversation about the highs and lows and the ongoing work of adapting to profound change. We love this interview, and we hope you do too. Sophie, welcome to the podcast, But You Look So Good. We are thrilled to have you as our first guest. Now, you are not a stranger to the term chronic health condition. You live with a number of conditions, and we would really like to start by you telling us about your diagnoses, how they came to be, and putting a bit of a spotlight on the fact that you became deaf.
Yeah, so I think growing up, now that we look back and we have the diagnosis, we can see that things were affecting me growing up. We just didn't know. But the first thing that I was diagnosed with was gastroparesis, which is literally my stomach is paralyzed. So it doesn't digest food as it should. And I would get really bloated, really full, even eating literally nothing. I'd be like, I'm full. My mum would be like, you can eat for England, like, what do you eat? Like, I love my food. My mum was like, there's no way. And I just literally didn't want to eat. I was in pain. I was feeling sick. And I was a young girl. I was around 16 maybe. So you got the typical looking for attention, eating disorder, all of those kind of things. And then they eventually found out that actually, no, my stomach is paralyzed. So that was the first thing. And then I dislocate very easily. My body just doesn't like to stay in. It goes out more than I do these days. So that was then diagnosed as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is to do with all the collagen and essentially the glue that holds your body together.
Yeah.
And that obviously affects like organs, joints, like you name it. It affects. It's also very closely linked to the stomach condition.
Right. That's interesting. And was it in a similar time frame for you, Sophie?
Ehlers-Danlos was the next one, which is one that when we look back on my childhood, would see, yeah, that makes sense. So probably there first potentially, but wasn't recognised till after because it's so highly misdiagnosed and missed, and there's not a lot of research that goes into it. So a lot of doctors just go, it's fine. It's fine. I would dislocate something, but it would also go back in just as easily. So then when I go and get an X-ray, it looks clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that must have been frustrating.
So frustrating. I remember going to a doctor, and this was before I became deaf, so I could hear everything this doctor was saying.
Yep.
He took me to the side of the room and said, "Are you sure she's not faking it for attention?"
Oh my goodness.
I read this because I wasn't deaf at this point. It was still in the same room. And my mum just looked at him and went, "You're telling me she's in her GCSEs and she wants to be on crutches walking up and down the exam hall? Make this make sense?" And I've always been very sporty. So I couldn't that I loved. So how did any of this have any sense? And it was just like this common theme that doctors were like, "Oh, she looks fine. She's a young girl. Like, it's fine."
The assumptions that they make about you, not knowing you at all. But I'm so pleased to hear that your mum was also kind of like, this is not Sophie.
She sounds like she was a fierce supporter of you.
Oh yeah, like I would not want to be on her bad side.
Great.
Doctors, like, I make decisions about doctors very quickly. My mum doesn't, but once she's made it, like,
Watch out. Yeah.
Then following on from that, I got something called POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which again is very closely linked with both of those conditions. That's to do with your like blood pressure, heart rate. Basically, my body can't control it. So I stand up and it takes a hot minute for my body to keep up with that. So I can get very lightheaded, pass out. I've actually trained my dog to alert me so that we avoid some of the passings out.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, so that's been amazing. But that also kind of affects like temperature control. Like my body can't regulate my temperature very well, so I can be freezing 1 second or like overheating to the point where I feel like I'm going to pass out the next.
Right.
And a whole bunch of other things, and you get like blood pooling and all sorts of things. But again, they're all very closely linked. So once you get one diagnosis and another, they're like, oh, okay, we're seeing the pattern. And from the POTS, my POTS specialist was actually looking into something called small fiber neuropathy, which is where your nerves that send the pain signals are basically misfiring.
Right.
So he was looking into that at the time, so he tested me for that. Turns out, because why have one condition when you can have multiple?
Well, yes, of course. And what age are you now, Sophie, when you get the POTS diagnosis?
The POTS diagnosis was probably around 19, 20-ish.
These are such important years. Like you're going from the early teenager now into the early 20s.
I think sometimes that's why in my mind I feel like I'm still in my early 20s, because I missed so much of my 20s being so unwell.
Yes.
Like now I'm at a point where things are relatively stable. Like I have my flare-ups and times where we have to change medications and stuff, but I'm way more stable. I'm not in and out of hospitals like I was for all of those years.
Yes.
Especially like because I did the Camp America scheme, came back from that, and everything just like cannonballs. So Camp America is basically you go over to a summer camp in America this as like a camp counselor. And I did drama there.
Right.
So I was in 2 departments, and then you see the kids, and obviously you get to experience America while you're there. So I was in Boston like 3.5 months. I wanted to do it again the next year, but you have to get medically signed off by a doctor, which I didn't have.
Right. I see. Yes. So coming back from Camp America, things changed dramatically after that in terms of your health. Right.
Yeah, it just snowballed downwards.
Yeah.
One thing kind of got triggered.
Yep.
Just kind of snowballed into that, and then like so then small fiber neuropathy came, which is all like nerve stuff. So then there's a lot of nerve damage and nerve type stuff going on, which again they're all very closely linked. So it was a major surprise, really.
Yeah.
I got diagnosed with esophageal dysmotility like this is like years prior, which was just like the feeling of like things getting stuck in your throat, like it isn't necessarily linked, but you can really link it. But
These are all such enormous terms, aren't they? Like all these big diagnoses that
you just blurt it out and you're like,
yes.
sure, yeah, that's But following from that is when all the hearing loss started. It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like the overnight thing. It was, which in a way I maybe would have preferred. I don't know. It would drop a little bit. I'd adjust. It would stay stable for like a year, and I'd adjust to how it's changed. Learn to communicate with what I've got and surroundings and all of that. And then like a year later, it would drop again. So I'd readjust. And then it would stay stable. And then it would drop. And I'd readjust. And it was this constant like, I've readjusted. I've relearned how to communicate, know my surroundings. Because if you don't know what's going on around you, you don't necessarily feel very safe all the time.
Of course.
Right.
And were you starting to learn sign language?
So I actually know American Sign Language because just randomly I was very interested in it one day. And at the time there wasn't a lot of British Sign Language online. So I was like, oh, I'll try American and I'll see if I like it, because I don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds if, I try it and I'm really no good at it or I don't like it. I was only interested at this point. So I learned American Sign Language, and then years later my hearing started. So I was like, maybe I should learn British Sign Language now. But it has come in handy knowing American Sign Language, because if you go on like Royal Caribbean cruises and it's on American soil, they'll provide an interpreter, but it's obviously American Sign Language. So it has come in handy knowing that. But I then did start learning British Sign Language. And then as my hearing went down and down, I obviously was like, okay, right, I need to really kind of look in. And
Can I just clarify, Sophie? You said that you had an interest in American Sign Language and learned how to sign before you experienced a level of deafness that required you to be able to sign.
yeah,
That's extraordinary.
It is quite extraordinary. It's handy that you already had some knowledge.
helped with the British Sign Language because I'd already learned one sign language, and I've always been a very visual person. I grew up performing, I grew up acting. I've always been very visual. So
I can hear that you're very creative.
yeah. And I did art. My mum's a graphic designer, so I was always very into art and drawing and painting and stuff. So I've always been very visual, and I think that's helped me with
signing. It's amazing. I have so much respect for people that are bilingual or have more than one language, but to be fluent in more than one type of sign language, I've never met anybody that can sign in more than one language. You might have met a few, Sophie. Do you know other people who know several different sign languages?
So my BSL, so British Sign Language teacher for level 6, he actually knows 5.
Wow.
I think there would be a lot of people who would think there's a universal language.
Yes. Yeah, people don't know.
Different, and like there's languages that
Of course, it makes all kinds of sense, but
I mean,
yes.
a lot of people would maybe think that like American, like British, Australian, then I get those ones because we're all speaking English, but we do different terms for things. But like you can't expect like Spanish speakers to use sign language when you like really sit and think about it. But
Of course.
yeah, because if you've not really got any knowledge on it, then why would you really think different? I mean, there is international sign, which is signs from different language kind of pulled together. It's necessarily a language, but it's something that you can use to break that kind of barrier if you do go abroad.
Can I ask you a little bit more about your experience of learning how to communicate in a different way using sign language, but also with the people around you, so friends, family, and randoms?
Yes, so it's been a journey. And obviously we've had COVID through that as well, so masks, which make lip.
Oh my goodness.
Of course.
Of course.
So I can lip read to some degree, but lip reading is only 30% accurate in the best conditions. Someone that doesn't have facial hair, that the lighting is right, that they're looking directly at you, they're not looking away, because obviously lip reading from the side is much more difficult, and certain accents are very difficult, and that's 30% in like best conditions, 1 in 3 words if I'm lucky, which has made for some interesting situations when I maybe haven't understood what they're actually saying. Like,
you kind of make up a little bit of,
yes, a lot of words that look the same.
Oh, do you have a
some good
particular
stories.
example? Yes, that you could share with us, Sophie?
It worked for this charity for kids that have like autism and ADHD and stuff. And I was working at a cafe one day, and the lady I was working with, she was very excited about this new wall clock that the boss had let her buy. And she's getting all excited, but she's not pointing, she's just speaking.
Right.
She's talking about this clock and how excited she was that the boss let her buy it. I didn't catch the L
It felt
like the boss thought, what?
What did he say?
But when you're in that moment, you don't necessarily think of all the words it could be. We're just going with what you're seeing right in front of you.
Yes.
And she took a second and she looked and she went, oh, the clock.
And you went, oh, the clock.
Yeah.
Makes sense now.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a words that it makes for an icebreaker. That's
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. And Sophie, how does your immediate family or friends go in terms of communicating?
so obviously my family are all hearing. My brother has started having some hearing loss, but it's very minor. But my family, my friends growing up, all hearing. And the majority of people that you come across are obviously hearing. And
Yeah.
groups are obviously a lot harder because naturally we want to talk over each other. We get excited, we speak fast, we turn away and, we're at a table and we look at the person over there, but then I'm over here and I'm like, wait, I can't see you now. And some people naturally mumble more, which then makes lip reading hard. So I actually, for around a year, I was once a week teaching my family some sign language.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
So they all have, some are stronger than others,
Yep.
Very nice way of saying it.
but they all have like quite a good vocabulary list now that they use, which has definitely helped. Could the kids get into the point where I was saying to my mum, like, I'm not coming to family dinners. Like, I just feel left out. I can't follow. I come out and I'm exhausted, but I'm also frustrated because I'm exhausted. Yeah, I've not understood so much. So that was kind of when my mum was like, right, we're all learning. Like, we're all going to try and learn. She didn't want me to not come and to feel like, obviously when it comes to things like Christmas and there's more extended family, a bit harder. But my immediate family, they've got good at making sure they're looking at me, that they get my attention before they speak, because obviously otherwise I miss a good part of it before I've even started. But I do feel like there's a lot of family members, like extended family members or friends, just couldn't be bothered. So it's kind of just like,
So there's been some pulling away in terms of friendships.
yeah, I mean, I've obviously been experiencing that a lot anyway with all my other health stuff. So I guess majorly shocked when it then continued that way with the hearing side of things. I'm in a world where people love voice notes. I, however, obviously do not.
No.
You add voice notes that I get, and then you get some that will, so sorry, and then others that don't even think about it. I mean, when it first happened, I was obviously very upset. I kind of put it on like it's me, like this sucks, and it really makes it hard to accept the illness or the deafness, because all you're seeing is these negative things that are coming from it. You're not kind of looking, well, you can't see there's good that comes from everything regardless. And like there has been good that has come from my health stuff. I've seen who my real friends are and who family members are, like who my life. I've learned a language that is beautiful, and I've made some amazing friends, and I'm in jobs now that I'm happy because there have been some jobs that managers are not so understanding.
Yes.
I was told that I was unreasonable for asking for a fire alarm evacuation plan. And I obviously don't hear it. Then what happens? And I was told I was unreasonable for that.
Wow.
Wow. It's hard to find words, isn't it, for that?
Yeah. When they said it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Have I read this wrong?
Yes. This must be wrong because
must be
nobody would be
wrong.
saying this.
I didn't know I was being so rude in asking. But, I think actually, like, although COVID was really, really hard, obviously for so many people, so many reasons, but obviously as a deaf person with reading and mask, it became very isolating. And funny enough, that's actually when I started accepting my hearing loss the most. No, I'm not entirely sure there was one thing.
Mm.
But there were groups for deaf and hard of hearing people like that would do like Zooms where obviously you could understand each other and understand in a deep way of like how isolating that time
Yeah.
was. I think just that was kind of the first time that I was really surrounding myself with other deaf and hard of hearing people. And I think is what helped me actually start accepting and embracing it. That is kind of when I started seeing the more positive side, more involved in the deaf community and, you know, doing all the stuff like sign language, and just embracing it more, I guess, and not being, I hate this, I hate the world, like, but being like, okay, do you know what? When I have a headache, my hearing aids just come out and it's peaceful.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what a reframe.
What a reframe. I was
Yeah.
going to say, Sophie, I'm so pleased that you said before that you said something quite like a little throwaway line that like, yeah, it has been tough. Like I've been emotional at times or it has been tough, but you've, zipped straight into being able to even demonstrate for us some of the real positives and some of the growth and the learning that you've had about yourself and others. But I really also appreciate that you've said, look, it hasn't been all roses and easy.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure if you my family, they would. You lovely examples of when I did not deal with it very well.
No.
You're locking myself in the bathroom, even at hospital appointments, like just having complete, like meltdowns and panic attacks. And
Yeah.
definitely not been an easy ride. And I think, I mean, I'm over 10, I'm like 15 years into like the whole health chronic illness journey. It's not been an easy place to get to. And I have my days. I still have
Yes.
days
Yes.
now where I hate this sucks. I wish I didn't have these health conditions. It would be so much easier. And yes, it would be, but everyone has something. If it wasn't health stuff, it would be something else.
Correct.
Yes.
Absolutely. And we so often talk, there just isn't this linear from A to B being acceptance. It is a messy journey. And the fact, Sophie, that you found people that reflect back, like, people with similar experiences is so crucial. I'm really interested. Did you meet people who had a similar experience to you where they were born hearing and then lost their hearing?
I have met some along the way. Weirdly enough, I think it was last week or the week before, I was on TikTok just scrolling and I just came across someone who was talking about their current hearing loss journey. And I don't normally comment, but for some reason I just commented being like, I get this. Like, if you need anything, like, please feel free to message me. I understand exactly what you're going through. I remember how lonely it was not having someone who understood that, because being born deaf and becoming deaf are very different experiences.
Yes.
And I just commented, which I don't really tend to do. Like, I'll like things and I'll be like, maybe I'll comment being like, I hope things are okay. Like, you've got this. But I don't want to be like, message me if you need me. Message back going, I think this is going to sound really weird, but I think we went to college together.
No.
Is that true? Did you go to college together?
And sent me a picture from college days, like from like a random party at college. It was same class, but we were in the same year, and I met her through a friend that was in my class.
Wow, what a story.
So now, like, we've been messaging, and I'm gonna help like learning sign and stuff like that.
The power of social media, I tell you what, TikTok can sometimes be what we need in this
wonderful
world.
and terrifying, but in this
Yeah.
case, wonderful.
And
Oh,
I've had that feeling of like, I need to message, be like, if you need anything.
It's so interesting because you're someone that maybe would have been what you needed back when you were
yes.
diagnosed. Is that how it
Good.
feels a little bit?
And I think it's hard because there's these two sides of when you're dealing with this and you haven't maybe accepted it or you're struggling. By being around people or talking to people about that situation kind of is a bit depressing in a way. Like, it does feel good because you're talking about this thing that you're struggling with. And in the same moment, that's also what you need to
Yes.
learn. So it's very hard. Like, I remember my mum would always try and get me on like Facebook groups for people with the same stomach condition. I'd be like, no, yes, we want that.
Yep.
But now it helps because you're like
Yep.
alone, or if you've got a new symptom, you'll be like, have you experienced this? Like, is this not?
Yep.
It's that hard balance in those early days of like being like, that's going to help me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's really well said, and
It is.
a challenging in between space that many people sit before they feel like they're ready to find their people or some people that they can connect to. So,
It's about finding the right people in the people.
yeah. At the
Yes.
right people at the right time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything happens at the right time in life.
Mm.
It's a grieving process, and you have to allow yourself to grieve because
Yeah.
you have lost stuff. Like, I know people say, like death gain, or you have a different mindset because of chronic illness. And yes, you do.
Yep.
But you're also grieving the life that you had, that you thought you were going to have, and the experiences that you thought you would have and how they looked. You're grieving not having all of that. And
Yep.
that you've got to allow yourself to do that before you can then actually really accept and embrace that, I think.
That is so well said.
Yeah,
It really is,
as
Sophie.
my
As
God.
psychologists, we would be
Yes.
most perfect. That is,
we
that-
clap.
Yep. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, wonderful. You mentioned before, Sophie, that you, through your journey with many different chronic health conditions and then put them all together, and your symptoms would be largely invisible, very hard for other people to understand on all the different levels. And I imagine in your body, there might be 6 symptoms happening on Tuesday and then 7 different ones on Thursday, and then Monday seems fine or something. There's always going to be some stable ones there. But you did talk about the adjustments that you got used to. I think your example was the hearing loss. You'd get used to it might be stable for a year, and then you have to adjust again. And so I'm wondering how that's worked for you over the years in terms of your own personal reflections and coping with that adjustment.
I think it's an ongoing thing because I can be fine 1 minute and the next minute I'm like, I'm about to pass out. It change in minutes. So I think I'm always slightly having to adjust how I'm dealing with it mentally based on flare-ups and stuff, because I can have months where I'm relatively stable and I'll have the same kind of symptoms on most days. I'm at my kind of base level. I'm not in any crazy pain.
Mm.
Suddenly I'm having months where I'm really, really, really struggling. So I think it's an ongoing adjustment that you just go with the flow, I guess.
Yep.
But it's always also adjusting to where your mentality is, like accepting that I'm going to have the times where I am a bit more down. And then that makes dealing with everything so much harder. And that's when I need to lean into the people that I have around me.
Mm.
Yes.
Because as you were saying, they're all invisible. Like they go, oh, but you look fine.
Yeah, you look
I'm
so good.
You can't see my insides. And if you could see my insides right now, you would see they're screaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can't see them. And then again, like deafness, like, yes, I have my hearing aids. If my hair is up, you might be able to see it from the side. But then people go, oh, you have hearing aids, so you're fine now. No, hearing aids don't work like that. They are just amplifiers. They make everything louder. So every noise that is around gets made louder.
Yep.
Air conditioning, that can be voices, that can be a bang, that's literally everything. So with speech, it doesn't actually help when you're at a profound level, which is where I am. It doesn't make it clearer.
Yes.
Make everything louder. So people go, oh, but you have hearing aids, so you can hear me fine. I'm like, no.
Not how it works.
Not how it works. I'm interested, Sophie, whether, because there's elements of that that's incredibly frustrating when people can just not see it and not understand it, or maybe not even make an attempt to understand it. Do you feel like as time's gone on, you've become more frustrated or softened to that, to people around you, and understanding that for the most part, people can be well-intentioned? Where do you sort of sit with how you view people's perspective on your conditions now?
Depends on the day. I think in some ways I've got a bit less patient in that I will come back with maybe some response, not rude response, because I get if you don't experience it, then you can't necessarily understand it. But sometimes you get like stupid questions and you're just like, I'm going to give you a stupid answer because you're giving me a stupid question. It's like when people are like, but you're deaf, how can you drive? I'm like, so do you, your idol or it? So that's like one of the most common questions in a
You're deaf, how can you drive? I'm trying to even kind of work out why.
their answer's like, oh, but like if there's an emergency car, and I'm like, but you realize it has flashing as well, right?
Yes.
Like sometimes they only use the flashing, and actually you'll see the flashing before you hear it anyway.
Yes, correct.
And they actually say that deaf drivers are safer because they are more visually aware.
Yep.
Yes. Great point.
So
Yeah.
someone says that, I'm like, sorry, how do you drive? And they're like, what do you mean, how do I drive? And I was like, well, do you use your eyes or do you use your ears? And they're like, well, I use my eyes so I can see what's on the road. I was like, there we go.
Yeah.
And so there's certain things that I'm like, you ask me a stupid question, I'm going to give
Yes.
a stupid answer.
Yep.
There's some things that I have learned that they don't have the knowledge and the experience. So I'll try and give them that knowledge and I'll be a bit more like patient and helpful. And there's others that I'm just like, see you later. Like,
Yes. Good.
like, I'm not doing this. It's like if a doctor turn around and goes, you look fine, I'm like, cool, you're not the doctor for me.
Yes. I love that. Some good
Yeah.
boundaries go a long way, don't they?
Yeah, I think there was so many years that I would come across doctors or people that would say things that I just kind of brushed off and was like, well, this is normal. As I've kind of accepted it and understood it more myself, I'm like, this isn't normal and it's not. And that's why I've kind of then created those like, this is how I'm going to deal with that. That's how I'm going to. Because if you just, everything get to you, it's just going to pile on you and you're never going to feel okay.
Yep.
But in time, if you let people just walk over you, you're also going to feel like that. So
Yes. Yeah.
It sounds like you're quite strategic in kind of thinking about how people might approach or what they might say. And you're thinking, okay, well, I want to have some backup messages ready to go so I can answer, I can deal with it, but not get emotionally too tied up in their drama.
yeah, and it's like I have a blue badge, which is like for disabled, and you get so many like old people or even like young people that go, like,
The condescending looks. Do you really need that?
and I have heard of people being like, people will literally be like, why are you parking there? So I feel like all of these like in my mind of like things that I would want to say, because if I don't, I feel like I would just end up getting very panicky. And
Yep.
I think you need to have that like mental preparation ready to
Which is great.
burst into tears. But I can also be very like in the moment. I think that's the acting.
The acting skills come in handy.
Wonderful.
I wish people could be a bit more open with their minds, not so black and white, because health is not black and white.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's the same with doctors. There's a saying, the EDS like animal representative is the zebra, because they say for doctors, when you hear hoofbeats, don't assume it's a horse. It's that being like, when someone comes in with these symptoms, just because it's not black and white following the textbook doesn't mean, it's not that or it is that.
Yep.
To look more into it. And I wish people were a bit like that. Just take what they think they know and they actually ask and listen and try to understand the best that they can with the information they're given. It's really hard and lonely thing to go through, whether it's the death, losing your hearing or chronic illnesses, and especially ones that don't look like anything. There's so many times where people go, oh, but at least it's not cancer.
Oh, it's not helpful comments.
So unhelpful.
They're coming from a place of like, you see cancer and, it's not a pleasant experience. And no one wants cancer, obviously.
No.
There are lots of people in the chronic illness community that will turn around and go, sometimes I wish it was just cancer. And not because they want cancer, but because people be more understanding and respectful.
Yes.
And they be more willing to help. Like when a chronic illness person has a bad day, people will go, oh, it will calm down. It will be okay.
Yeah.
But if it was someone with cancer, they'd be like, what can I do?
That's right. Where would you like me to bring the lasagna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants cancer, but they just want that same level of respect and help and
Care.
Absolutely. Care.
Mm.
And I heard what you said before, Sophie. You want people to be curious. You want them to ask and be curious and have that posture or that stance rather than assumptions and well-intentioned lines, comments. Yes.
Phew, lucky it's not cancer.
I know, unsolicited comments. Oh my goodness. Or advice, I should say.
Well,
Goodness.
but have you tried?
Oh, stop it. Don't even start.
Can
Everybody
we ask?
listening would completely
I
understand
know.
that.
But can we ask, Sophie, what's the best one have you tried? Have you been suggested?
I've had like, if you just tried some yoga,
Mhm. Fix you right
or
up.
just tried some acupuncture, that would clear everything. Yeah. Interesting. I'm not sure that my doctors would agree with that.
But
I'm
thanks.
I'm pretty sure don't just need to go away because of some yoga or some but thanks. I'll be sure to give that. Or like, well, if you just went vegan, fix my nerves and my issues that are going on my insides and my joint pain. I don't think it'll help. But thanks.
Yeah.
Yes. It's sometimes it's hard to resolve the fact that that's well-intentioned, but yes, got some of those comments.
But that's like, if you catch me on a bad day, that's when you're going to get the like really sarcastic comment back. It's not meant in a rude way. It's just like that frustrated, like, I've heard this so many times, I'm not dealing with this today kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Of
of
course.
course.
But people think that you're being rude.
But you are merely human.
I am very, very, very stubborn, which has helped me get to where I am.
Yes.
Yes.
Someone says you can't do something, I'm going to be like, watch me.
Yes.
Like people like, you can't do cheerleading with your health. I'm like, watch me. I will do cheerleading. I will compete. I will go to the world championship and I will win twice. I think,
Well done, winner.
very much like, you tell me I can't, I will show you I can and more.
Yeah.
So
But
it's
if-
highly motivating for you. For someone to say to you, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah, and a lot you get, oh, but you shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, maybe not, but I want to, and I live once, so I'm going to.
Yeah.
Take the consequences that come with it, which, aren't always fun, but it's worth it. And I did cheerleading competitively for like 10 years and I loved it. And it helped me so much mentally. And yes, I would often suffer for days after,
Yep.
but it was better. And when people would be like, yeah, but you can't do it, I'll be like, I'm going to, and I'm going to do it to a high level. So just sit back and watch.
Yeah.
Yes, watch this play out.
Right.
But you maybe shouldn't be working. I'm like, maybe, but
We'll
I'm
see.
going.
Yeah.
I did. I carried on working full time for a long time with all of my health, and I did end up doing the sensible thing of doing part time, because then I got to the point where I was like, I'm putting all of my energy into work that I have nothing for life.
Yes. So you wanted that balance.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'll do the sensible thing of like part time, but I am not stopping. Like I will maybe adjust the work that fits a bit more with my health.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, lovely. I think that you have so much knowledge and wisdom, and you have really clearly very good insight. We're really interested in, what would you tell the pre-diagnosis version of yourself about the journey ahead? What kind of pearls of wisdom would you give to that Sophie?
I think I would probably tell myself that it is going to be hard. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not that person to anyone. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But once you kind of get through the hardest parts and you can start seeing the silver linings, actually it will open your mind up and you'll see the world and you'll see things in such a different way, and you end up not wasting your energy on things that don't need your energy.
Yep.
I use my energy now on what I want and need to. I don't waste it on trying to keep people that I don't need in my life, or please people that, like, why? So I think that's what I would tell myself, is that, like, it is going to be hard. It's going to be a long journey and it's going to be up and down. It's not a straight line, and it's good days, bad days, but that you'll find your true people and you'll find like the true openness, I guess, of life, and see.
Right.
The
Beautiful words.
beautiful words.
Yes. And now that we've heard from you that you're connecting with others through TikTok, I'm sure through many other places as well, that they will be able to benefit if they're open to hearing those kind of words, depending on where they are in their journey. It's absolutely wonderful that you can share some of your insight and knowledge with others.
I think that's why I started posting on social media. I've done posted share stuff before. I've posted signing stuff. I've posted sit down chatty videos. I've posted all sorts, and I think it was because social media is what helped me,
Yes.
which I had more of that when I needed it. So I was like, I give a bit of happiness or a bit insight to someone, then that's what I want to do. Because I wanted to help people. I just didn't know how.
Wonderful. Sophie, thank you so much for joining us. We are so thrilled that you've come along and talking about your experience, and we think it's one that people will really get a lot from. And you speak so eloquently about your journey, and you're so insightful.
It was absolute pleasure to talk to you,
Yeah.
Sophie. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.